So I've been playing D. The year is 1995, and video games were in a constant state of... And you just so happen to be a young budding games developer / writer called Kenji Eno. Not happy with the current status quo, you look towards the future. And the future spells dick. Low quality, low budget, low poly dick. And the only thing that can satiate your phallic lust is a game system so powerful, so popular, that it would forever change the gaming landscape. Yes, the Panasonic 3DO, Kenji Eno said as he eagerly started writing his horror game plot. A tale of defiance, publisher backstabbing, and really shitty FMV, it's D! Or in some cases, D's Diner, which was meant to be D's Dinner, but fuck that. We need some of that Final Fantasy 15 shit up in this bitch. Cindy, how about them decals?
How about the decals?
Also, something about this chick called Laura Harris who has to run her ass on over to a hospital because her very own father went on a murderous killing spree and has locked himself inside. But, as video games would have it, the whole damn building turns into a fucking castle after she enters, and now she has to find herself a way towards the core of this mystery by very slowly panning around the place and solving some really obtuse puzzles. Where D2 only had some bits that played a bit like Myst, D just plays like Myst. If I wasn't clear enough on this before, the entire game, yes, all of it, consists out of glorious mid-90s FMV, which really limits what a game like this can do, and as a result, it doesn't really do much. Well, mechanically at least. D really put its story and atmosphere front and center in the hopes of being hella cinematic. Also, this is the second time now where I bought a PS1 game and the entire fucking thing ended up being in German. No language options, no nothing. So, you use the D-pad to very slowly turn around or walk in a certain direction at lightning speed, interact with objects using circle because Japan, and open up and browse your inventory with the shoulder buttons. There's no opening dialogue or really much of anything to indicate what exactly you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to do it. Laura just lumbers about the hospital, trips the fuck out, all the while not a single line of dialogue has been spoken, and then the first-person view happens, after which Daddy tells you to fuck off, clearing up nothing whatsoever, and you're left with no other choice than to just kinda explore. But be forewarned, as despite it spanning a total of 3 discs, this D is rather short. So short in fact that it has a hard time limit of 2 hours. If you don't finish the game in under that, you'll be forced to start over as you can't save either. Which certainly made my job pretty fucking great. I typically take notes as I play, pausing whenever I need to jot something down. But D has no pause button or really any way to stop the timer. One can just choose to stand there obviously, but the time will keep on ticking as you receive this FMV dicking. But luckily, shit's also really fucking easy. The pathing, I guess you can call it, can be a bit finicky, with it for instance not allowing you to look left in order to move to a door, but instead making you walk to the door on the right first, to then turn around and enter the door you initially wanted to, but it also makes the puzzle stupidly simplistic as there's always only about 5 things you can examine in each given area. And the areas remain pretty small as well. Much like any old survival horror game, it's mostly down to just making sure that you've explored and examined everything. Instead, the real difficulty, using that word very lightly here, comes from the Myst-style puzzles. Some of the game's puzzles can be needlessly douchey. Like here, where you need to enter a 2-digit number into this thing. You already know the number because of this door having told you, but rather than going full keypad, you gotta pull a lever to make the number spin around like a slot machine. As I did though, there was zero logic that I could discern from what I was seeing. Pulling it once caused the single digits to spin, and pulling it twice triggered the secondary number, only for some reason every time I landed it where I wanted it to, which was hard enough on its own due to the finicky PS1 momentum, it would skip to a seemingly random number. What it ended up being was that the singlets would go down by the number of times the second digit was displaying. So if you were to land a 7 on the tens and a 1 on the singles, it would move up to an 8, which I guess is neat and everything and kinda clever in its own weird little way, but typically one would find a note of some kind, like the slot machine manual casually lying on a table hinting at a defect causing it to do that, which in turn could slowly clue you in on a bit of lore as well, but no. Granted, the game is going for an isolist horror type of thing, which it does surprisingly well, and they also came out before the illustrious Resident Evil, but by the time they make you spin around a revolving room with doors leading to other rooms where you solve puzzles in one to trigger sequences in the other, with slow as fuck FMV walking speed, little to no music, and not much to go on in terms of motivation other than finding out what the actual fuck is going on in general, shit might just become a bit too very fucking obtuse for some. Personally though, I can't say it really bothered me much at all. Again, the puzzles never become challenging, they're just really slow, cryptic, and tedious. Kenji Eno, like many of his peers, just wanted to make freaky deaky movie games, so that's exactly what you get. As weird as it is, I do kinda like the cold opening. Right off the bat, it establishes what type of experience you're in for simply by confronting you with this. This game is fucking eerie, dude. The FMV probably helps, but the silence of the castle, the minimalist presentation, and the lack of proper objectives makes the atmosphere fit to make you zoinks all over your jinkies. D is a game that's chock full of just entirely bonkers shit. Laura might move along with the dexterity of a paraplegic snail, but every few steps an odd as fuck event will trigger, keeping shit from ever getting boring. Like, you know that scene from Silent Hill 4 with the textureless upper torso and head man monologuing in monotone as he hangs from the ceiling? Well, that's basically what this game is entirely. Distilled fuck. And I really dug it. There's also barely any music, and the sound design is rather strong, really punctuating every slow-paced occurrence, making even something as mundane as opening a door or walking up a set of stairs pretty fucking impactful. Not to mention the hilarious music cues like the operatic harmony of angelic hymns you get upon selecting a bloody crank. Shit felt horribly out of place, but adds to the overall sense of that the game excels in. The same goes for the visual style that, while being butt-fucking ugly no matter which way you look at it, is appropriately grim, making this valley pretty gosh darn uncanny if you ask me. For a game this short with a story-heavy focus, the actual narrative is kind of fucking shit. Laura doesn't emote much either. She's either mildly startled or hella ambivalent, even though she was just transported to a demon castle with booby traps and corpses everywhere. It's weird, it's uncanny, and all that good shit, but there isn't really anything or anyone that the player can latch onto. A big cock blocker here is the fact that Laura is silent. She has a voice. Sure, she'll pant or sigh or sometimes even breathe, but she doesn't talk, scream, smile, or really do anything that would enhance the experience much. And what little voice acting that is there, being your dad awkwardly trying to get a hold of you through dial-up.
Laura.
is about as good as you'd expect from a game released in 1995, leading to this probably being very boring for about 80% of the human race. For all you 20% motherfuckers out here with me though, the D experience is actually quite interesting. I wouldn't call it good per se, but I can certainly see and appreciate what Kenji Eno was going for, especially knowing where he eventually took it. It's a game that has a QuickTime event, which was about as horrible as one might expect, but in that I can't also help but admire its inane dedication to being different. Overall, D might not have aged well, but if you are up for it, there's most definitely something here. Mostly shit like this.
And now you know you must leave. I feel myself changing.